So all you have is Orlando Magic hats.
Orlando Magic, Orlando Lions, Orlando Solar Bears, Orlando Predators. I only rep for where I'm from. I'm not a fucking billboard for any fucking where else.
So you don't have any other hats, just Orlando.
No other sports teams matter except for the Baltimore Ravens, which is sketchy, but don't ask. If it's not Knights, if it's not Magic, if it's not Predators, even the Rage, shout out to the XFL, that shit's whack, but shout out to the old XFL, Orlando Rage, yeah, if it's not Orlando, I'm not fucking endorsing that shit.
Solar Bears. Have you even been to a Solar Bears game or the hockey team?
Yeah, bro, I went to a Solar Bears game in like 4th grade. Shout out to my 4th grade teacher, Miss Lesh. Yeah, shout out to her. I just remembered it off the top, but yeah, only once in my life. But they were in Orlando, and our taxpayer dollars went to fucking build the arena probably. So, yeah, shout out to everything Orlando.
Sammie definitely had the hots for that 4th grade teacher. There'd be no other way he'd remember her. Was she hot?
No, her daughter definitely was. You read that all over my face. Her daughter was. I had the hots for Miss Lesh's daughter. And she's watching this too. I haven't talked to you in a long time, but now you know.
Shoot your shot at this. Welcome to the Sports Savage. I'm your host from sunny and on fire again, Los Angeles, California. I can smell the smoke in my apartment. It's not that bad. But I'm joined always by Smooth Talking Sammie from Orlando, Florida. And
Yo, Savage Life, Sports World, what's happening?
Alright. Good night, football. Just in case anybody wanted to know, I'm gonna do the whole segment looking like this. So the Vikes won. It was 19-9. I wasn't impressed just because, I thought we were gonna, stomp them like a bug. Dalvin Cook looks like the best running back in the NFL. We look like we have the best second running back in the NFL in Madison. Kirk Cousins didn't play terrible. We just had a ton of penalties. Had that early turnover. The Skins, they had to go to Haskins, and they still were in the game. So it's a very disappointing win as a Vikings fan. We're 6-2. We screwed the pooch because our only 2 losses are Chicago and Green Bay, and it's in division. Who cares about the other games? Sammie, if you watched it, you looked at it, what was your take on Thursday Night Football?
You summed it up for me, man. Disappointing win if you're a Vikings fan. Another Kirk Cousins primetime performance, and I don't mean that in a positive way. I don't know what it is when he's the only game on or the bright lights are on him that he just does not perform. Against the Redskins defense, I need to slap myself. A Washington defense, that's a racist name. A Washington defense that really hasn't played well against anyone all season, and then you allow them to come into your home and really look like a pretty stout defense. So you are down your best receiver, obviously, with that fumble from Diggs, with Thielen being out. I heard a lot of pundits saying this is going to be a big blowout game for Diggs. I was disappointed. He, had some useless yards, and he definitely stretched the field, but I was expecting him to kind of have a performance as well. Maybe not a breakout performance, but just show that maybe Minnesota has 2 number 1s versus he's a number 2 who I can play for.
He had 7 catches for 143 yards. What'd you want him to do?
I don't know, win the game.
We won the game.
Well, I mean, in the sense of that fumble was something that I don't know, was kind of out of left field. So he made up for that. I'll take that. That's a nice stat line. So I'll eat a little crow on that. But I don't know. It was just 16 points. Where did that 143 come from? Or 19 or 16, 19, whatever it was. I don't know. Yeah. It's going to be a forgettable game when this could have been like a statement game for Minnesota to show that they're a powerhouse in the NFC more so than they maybe got away with one.
Well, Kirk Cousins says he wasn't happy with the win, so that just goes to show. I mean, no one really had a bad game. Our offensive line probably had the worst game. There's a lot of holdings. It was just a lot of dumb play calling too. Especially in the red zone, we just didn't run. We tried to do all these weird passes, and then it just didn't work out. We really all of those field goals should have been touchdowns. But you know what they say: a win is a win, and I will take it. And the Vikes, we're 4-0 at home. We're a home team, so we're just gonna have to see where it goes. I mean, the Skins, it's a lost season for them. what do you do? I mean, do you go quarterback next draft? You got Haskins, but they said, he didn't look great. I mean, you shove anybody in there last minute against Minnesota, which is probably top 5.
Exactly.
I mean, he's not going to look great, but I mean, hopefully you wanted to see something. But I don't know. Like, if you're a Skins fan, what's your temperature right now?
If you're a Washington fan, you hope that you're not Josh Rosen and Dwayne Haskins right now. That you're putting him out there and destroying his confidence. You definitely got to dedicate the year to at least figuring out what you have at that position, because obviously Case Keenum and Colt McCoy aren't going to be the answer. So at minimum, you are going to end up with a high draft pick and maybe a starting quarterback next year or a young, promising quarterback. But I don't feel like this game is a real judgment or an indictment on Dwayne Haskins, maybe more so that Washington organization as a whole. Like, what the fuck are you doing? TJ McLaurin is pretty much saving that offense and credit that he was able to move the ball somewhat down the field, and that was prior to Haskins getting in the game. But he's really the only spotlight on that entire team. I mean, the defensive line is okay. But let me actually just kind of switch the tempo. Who gives a shit about the Washington Redskins? So when Dalvin Cook plays, I hear he's the best running back in the league. When Zeke Elliott is playing, I hear he's the best running back in the league. When Christian McCaffrey is playing, I hear he's the best running back in the league. Savage, like, who the fuck is the best running back in the National Football League? I don't know. It depends on who's playing.
I'm going to revoke what I said earlier. It's Christian McCaffrey. And I'm saying that for 2 reasons. One reason, why. Number 2, he's balling out. I mean, he's really balling out. Like, when he first came in, I'm going to take this down. When he was kind of the scat back kind of guy you would, like, pass it to, And he's not huge, but he's not small. And, like, he's becoming a real running back now. Like, he'll hit the hole, and he can break tackles. He's fast. He's...
Leaving Savage to go with the white guy. So,
what else am I supposed to...
But no, actually, that's in all seriousness, because Cook is leading the league in rushing. Like you said, McCaffrey is a beast, and Zeke is the engine of the Dallas Cowboys. So you really have a 3-headed race with Le'Veon Bell with the sorry-ass offensive line. My point is, you have some premium running backs who are all underpaid in this league right now.
Definitely. And we're going to go into NFL news trade. Speaking of that, Chargers running back, Melvin Gordon, he's on the trading block. I can't think of a team who's kind of on the cusp that might want him. Would you take him in Baltimore?
Not with the way Mark Ingram's running the rock right now. Melvin Gordon, you got to fire your representation. I hope you come back next season with a different suit next to you making these deals for you, because you got shitty advice and you're making shittier decisions. I don't know why you would go public with the statements that he's been making, saying that, he wouldn't be holding out from any training camps going forward or things of that nature, just kind of showing your hand. It's really weird. Obviously, that whole LA Charger organization is a dumpster fire, trying to compete with the Rams in the same city with so much going on. So there's definitely a home for him. I don't know if it's with the contender. Maybe a team that's a couple players away, but you can't really call your home or really make a good deal when you're almost halfway through the season and everybody's pretty much have what they have. I take that back. Kansas City, that'd be a nice home for them. Chiefs thought maybe that LaShawn McCoy would provide a little more oomph that he's bringing, so maybe something like that. But I mean, what do they really have to offer? But it would have to be a unique situation where he'd be able to make an impact this year.
Quandre Diggs, he was traded to the Seahawks to bolster their defense. I mean, I think the Lions were maybe we got it this year. Now they're like, no, we don't. So maybe they're just trying to empty it out a little bit. I tell you about this. Here's a big trade that's looming, or people that are discussing. Teddy B to Chicago. Would that put Chicago over the top? Would Chicago want to trade? Are they gonna be smart enough to say, you know what, we screwed up with Mitch? What do you do if you're the Saints and Chicago trying to make that trade?
That is a hot take alert. That's something interesting I haven't really thought about. It'll be pretty tricky to me because it'll be in conference with 2 NFC teams. That could come to bite one of them in the ass if they end up trading a valuable piece, especially with the Saints and you have an aging Drew Brees. But I definitely see Teddy B starting for a team I don't know if it's this season. That'll be pretty gutsy if you're Chicago. I mean, you are wasting away a pretty solid defense that obviously doesn't look the same when you don't have a serviceable quarterback. But I don't think they have the nuts to kick from up under Mitchell Trubisky. When you have every major sports outlet reminding the world that they took Trubisky over fucking Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, I don't think you just move from them that quick. Like that's a hard fucking bullet to bite on, man. Just thinking about that shit. Like if you're a Bears fan, that's fucking tough. But yeah, I mean Teddy B, I got another hot take from you. I'm hearing out there on the streets, maybe Cam Newton. I don't think Carolina could move from him, such an iconic piece with their team. But I've seen rich white people do crazier shit. That would be crazy. I can see now Cam. You give the Bears somebody like Cam who's a little more proven in that right now moment. That's interesting. Maybe something I could see. Teddy Bridgewater will also make them a lot better team and a playoff team now. That's how confident I am in Teddy Bridgewater. But I don't really see them moving off Mitch this quick. That's terrible.
Here's my hot take. Cam is done. He's done. He's playing hurt this season. He played like shit. He got hurt again. Now he's trying to come back. I'm not saying the Carolinas quarterback is all that in a bag of chips, but I mean he's 4-0. I don't know. I just think if Cam came into the NFL like 3 or 4 years later than he did, he'd be an all-star. Because you can't touch the quarterbacks now. Like he was right in that transition where you could just meat grind anybody on the field. And then, because remember that one year, like he was just getting hits in the head, like constantly. He was a pinata. I think that took a lot of toll on him because he's a big guy. He's not going to get the calls Tom Brady gets or any other slender quarterback when they get blown on. Like they're not going to throw a flag. I wouldn't want Cam Newton, and I'm just saying that from what I've seen this year and last year. Yeah, he went to the Super Bowl. That's when he was balling. I think his body is starting to fail him. Backup. He's a backup.
Wow, backup. Okay, definitely a hot take.
He's a backup.
I don't think he's a backup in Carolina. I think there would be a lot of teams if Carolina made that decision to get from up under him that would be willing to place money on the Cam Newton experiment. But yeah, we'll see. I know he's hurt and he's definitely taken a step back as far as being that Super Bowl caliber quarterback. But I can't say that wasn't because of injury. I'm giving him at least a year to kind of figure it all out.
Yeah, and I think the other thing I don't like about Cam Newton is he always dresses like a villain. At every post conference, he's got a new hat, some outfit. I don't know.
Yeah, he takes way too much time as far as his wardrobe. I can definitely agree with that. If he took that much time on his completion percentage, he would be a Hall of Famer.
Maybe I'll be Cam Newton for Halloween, just like how he dresses up. Anyway, we're going to go Clippers. All right, so my first Civil War in L.A., Lakers-Clippers. Clippers win. Kawhi went off. I mean, Clippers seemingly had the control most of the game. I'm a Clip. I want to get a jersey. Okay, I want to be a custom jersey. Clippers, number 13, and instead of George on the back, I want to get playoff P. Maybe go that. Did you watch any of that game, Sammie? Did you watching the highlights?
Yeah, man. I checked that good amount of the new LA rivalry out, and it was it definitely was as advertised without playoff P. Funny enough, if you're the Lakers, having LeBron James finish with 18 points is a little sketchy. AD a little absent in the fourth quarter is a little sketchy. But at the same time, those pieces around those two played better than I expected, at least that first game. If you're the Clippers, though, what a statement win. First game out the season to beat the hometown rival and show the world, like, yeah, we're here to compete for a championship. And they did all this down, arguably their second best player. If you're Kawhi, you're definitely in robot mode to take over this fucking league, and you really don't care about any type of swan song for LeBron James or a young budding Anthony Davis. You're really trying to prove that this is your league, and putting up that 30-piece last night definitely did so. So I definitely I think that the Clippers are here to make a statement, and if you're the Lakers, that was a litmus test that you failed.
Zion is out for like 8 weeks. I mean, I'm really looking forward to seeing him play just because, he's kind of like another Charles Barkley in my mind. Like, he's just a big guy who can move. What's been your synopsis of opening week for the NBA?
Man, I'm a basketball guy, even though I talk that football shit so smooth. Like, I've been waiting on this. This has been a very anticipated season. Great start with the fucking not great start, but a great comment with the Zion. That was a fucking blow to any NBA fan, and not the sexual kind, like the white kind. Like, it was you expected so much off of what he was able to do in the summer league, as far as bringing that high school bully ball shit to the highest level. So you were ready to see if he could do that when the big lights were on. So to hear about that knee it's fucked up, man. But I got a hot take alert. Shout out to my boy Jay Salt, man. He's telling me this is what Zion's career may be. Maybe he's not built to sustain the type of basketball that he plays at the highest level. I don't want to believe that it's so, but the way he's built to have such not a severe, but a substantial injury out the gate before your first professional game definitely causes some red flags. So hopefully we're not having this conversation throughout the career of Zion Williamson, and he's able to win the dunk contest this year like everybody wants to see. But that was definitely a big thing. You see this fucking hat on my head. Shout out to the Magic in that first win over the Cavaliers. They fucking suck. But Markelle Fultz coming out the gate with 12 points is definitely a good sign. We got him on house money. So if he's something special or anything close to it, we're making some noise in the playoffs. The Heat getting a win, our rival, without Jimmy Butler, was pretty interesting, but they didn't really play against anybody. We got Golden State against the Clippers right now live, and Steph Curry is looking a little shaky as far as being the only guy out there who's really creating the offense. You got D'Angelo Russell, who came over from the Nets, who's making an impact, but they definitely look like they're missing Clay. There's just so many different things going on. You got Kyrie dropping that 50-piece in the loss. This is a great start to NBA basketball.
Yeah, and I was just looking at that too. Kyrie get the 50 burger. He had some pretty fancy moves too in that game against the T-Wolves. I guess I should root for the T-Wolves since they're in Minnesota, but I really don't. I'm a Clippers guy now, so I gotta go.
As of yesterday, you're a Clippers guy. Or as of the start of the season.
But how much does that suck that KD's not playing? And how good? I guess we can judge how good they're going to be once he gets there. Or will Kyrie just get worn out this season, and then by the time KD's there, maybe they're not going to be that trouble tandem everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is he was very emotional in the beginning of the game as he addressed the Brooklyn crowd. He grew up a Nets fan. But if you're going to be scoring a lot of points and losses, it's going to be a nice story in the beginning of the season, but people are going to really realize when that loss column starts to stack up. So KD definitely rushed up, did well, because they're going to need you to make some real noise. And by noise, I mean compete for a championship. But yeah, Kyrie can score the basketball. Who fucking knew it? But still impressive in the first game out. Greek Freak was also able to get a win against Houston with that James Harden, Russell Westbrook experiment just recently. So that was a nice road win for them. But they're a regular season team, so we'll see what they got going on 81 games from now. But there's a lot of storylines, which is always interesting in the drama of sports, let alone basketball. So we're definitely going to see who steps up. And again, you see the fucking hat on my head, so the Magic will be one of those teams. I don't speak that into existence.
There's already Twitter chatter about Westbrook and Fear the Beard because they were kind of arguing, I guess, on the sidelines. I mean, nobody thought it was going to work with Harden and CP3, and it did. No one thinks it's going to work with Russell Westbrook and Harden. They're going to find a way to make it work. They're going to score a million points, but is that going to put them over the top?
No, it's not, because you got to play defense. in the highest level of professional basketball. So you're still gonna have to be able to stop someone at some point, even if it's a couple of crucial stops. So you made a great point. Nobody thought CP3 and James Harden was going to work, but they were a hamstring away from pushing the KD Warriors to a Game 7, which I would have picked them to win that game. So do I believe that Russell Westbrook can bring something like Chris Paul brought to the table? Definitely. He's a former MVP, averages a triple-double for a reason, but he can't shoot threes on a team that wants to shoot majority or exclusively threes. So that's a little weird, and he's not really a lockdown defensive player ever since that knee injury. So they got a lot of question marks, but again, it's going to be entertaining for us. But if you're placing money on Houston to win it all, you got some money to burn. Let's just put it like that.
We're gonna go into the World Series. Looks like our Nats are gonna take it. Did you see the Verlander play where the ball got hit back at him? He made a really good catch and then threw it into his own leg when he was trying to throw, because he was like tumbling around. I don't know, man. Like, Astros apparently are just getting spanked. So good for us.
Yeah, let's go Nats, man. Fuck Bryce Harper, right? Now I'm just kidding, but seriously though, Bryce Harper, eat your heart out. What the fuck happened? Like, why are they so much better a year after you? This is really sketchy to me. That's the most interesting storyline, let alone in the whole World Series itself. The pitching from the Nationals, from what I'm hearing, has been lights on when everyone thought that was going to be the same thing with Houston. So yeah, the Nats are riding high and they're riding high. So if they can finish this off, this will definitely be one of the more memorable World Series. And I just made a bet in reference to Houston. Man, if you had the opportunity to take the fucking Nats, aren't you happy that you did at this moment at least? Because they're looking like the favorites in the series.
One more little baseball nugget. Joe Girardi, who used to be the manager for the Yankees, he's going to Philly. Now, I know they have kind of like a rivalry, but I guess it does. I mean, if you're a Phillies fan, like, I don't know, he took the Yankees to a World Series, so maybe us.
Yeah, I mean, it was I guess a nice name. It was a baseball name. You know, if you know anything about baseball, the Girardi name rings a bell. So hopefully he knows his stuff and he's able to produce something out of some young talent that the Phillies do have. They definitely have some young bats. If Bryce Harper can get his head from around the fucking heartbreak of watching his ex go on to marry a billionaire, and maybe commit to the one he's with, then maybe they can make some things happen. But yeah, other than that, it was just a baseball story.
You know, the NFL gets criticized every now and again for retreads, like when it comes to coaching or anything. The MLB is the retread capital of the world. Like, no, there's never a new coach. It's always some guy. You know, there's just like trading cards. You know, they're just flipping them back and forth.
You can never be too old to be an MLB manager.
No. They get to wear a jersey. How stupid is that? Like, you're not going to play. Like, you're not going to show up on that. And they get a number. I've never understood that. It's so dumb. Anyway, John Jones, he was in support for Nate Diaz, who had supposedly flunked a drug test. Nate Diaz went on a tweet and was like, "I'm not on steroids. You guys are on steroids. I know you are, but what am I coming?" But now they're saying he might get to fight. Like, this is breaking. Like, they're saying he might not be suspended at all. I know, like, the drug testing in the UFC is, like, super hardcore. So I doubt they would make a mistake, right?
I mean, I don't think a mistake was made. Maybe not on the testing side. Maybe on the Diaz training side. Maybe he was taking some shit that he didn't think would pop in it, and it did. You don't know Diaz, Nate Diaz, or his brother Nick to be cheaters or guys who take illegal substances or supplements as far as in the fighting world. So this is not of his character, of his ilk, and you can tell by that tweet rant that he felt disrespected. They're saying, or he said, that the UFC wanted him to stay quiet with it, and he decided to go the alternate route and go completely public. So that shows you the exact type of fuck you attitude that he has to his employers, let alone to any bullshit. So I fuck with Nate Diaz, and I believe most of what he has to say, just because he's been pretty authentic throughout his whole career. So if he says he didn't do anything purposely, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. And they were making a big deal out of this baddest motherfucker fight coming up with him and Masvidal. So if the UFC can do anything to save money or save face, they will. So it's him still stepping up in that octagon. It's definitely possible. This could have been an interesting story to sell tickets.
Yeah, I don't know. If I ran or if I had my own fighting thing, I wouldn't drug test.
Wait, what?
I wouldn't have drug test. I wouldn't have weight classes. I would just be like, all right, whoever wants to fight.
So you would just let people murder each other? Okay, got it. Yeah.
Murder. I mean, rules and everything. Maybe they could use a but I mean, we're watching them bash each other's skulls in, so it has to be eloquent, and I understand we want the fairness aspect. I understand. What I'm saying is, in mine, it's no rules, baby. Like, you do a line of coke right before you get in the ring. Whatever makes it more interesting.
You and Vince McMahon need to have a conversation.
Let's go. Come on, Vince. Conor McGregor says he'll return to the octagon January 18th in Las Vegas. I don't like Conor McGregor. I think he's a punk. I know he's one of my boys, but I just don't like him. I mean, is this a big deal? Like, are you gonna go out of your way to watch a Conor McGregor fight?
Dude, first of all, after Khabib beat the shit out of him, I'm definitely gonna watch his next fight. Off of that alone, he beat his ass so bad that after the fight was over, he wanted more smoke. So he tried to fight his people after the fight. So if it's one thing about Conor, he can sell a fight. He has people outside of the octagon who want to fight him. So he's notorious, as his Twitter handle is. So I'm definitely interested to see if he'll ever get back in the octagon. I feel like he spent a lot of that Floyd money, like a real irresponsible person. So he's going to have to get back in to making money, as far as how most people have to. So he's going to do so by fighting in the octagon. So I'm going to be interested. It's probably going to be a cupcake fight to probably build up to maybe a rematch with Diaz or Khabib for the title, if he's able to still hold on to it. I like Tony Ferguson on a sleeper type tip. But with that being said, yeah, I'm watching Conor McGregor with pretty much anything he does, because one thing he is entertaining.
Let me ask you this: what year was the last year that Conor McGregor won an MMA fight?
Man, that's gonna have to be. That was Nate Diaz fight 2, because Nate won. No, that's Nate Diaz won, because Nate Diaz won the second fight. I'll say 2016, 3.
Ding, ding, ding. Sammie wins.
Bro. I'm on the show for a reason, man.
Yeah, he had that bullshit with Floyd Mayweather, and I was suckered into it. Like I think I like bootlegged it offline off some shady website.
No, but did you hear? Yeah, no, I was here. But did you hear that Floyd walked him those extra rounds because he bet on himself to finish the fight in a certain round? That fucked me up, because I was kind of like you, where I was actually interested in it. But I heard that, and I'm like, yo, this nigga Floyd Mayweather can't fucking read, but he's smart enough to set something up like that for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Jesus Christ.
Good for him. Good for him. I'd say, hell yeah, man. Like, if you got that kind of swag where you can bet on when you think you're going to knock this guy. I mean, he knew he was going to crush him. Conor McGregor stood no chance. Oh, he trained for a year. Floyd Mayweather's been doing this for years. And he's like the baddest dude that does it. I mean, that was WWE. That wasn't a real fight. Everybody knows it. Whatever. They did. Tweet the show. Tweet me at Garrett W. Savage. Email the show. I'm not even gonna check. If you were an email this week, too bad. I'm not.
Yeah, wait till next week. Fuck it, you should have emailed sooner.
Notifications from that. The Sports Savage Show at gmail.com. The offer is still on the table. We get 10 likes on this show. We'll do an audio-only recap of the weekend. Okay, Sammie, you got anything else to say tonight?
10 fucking likes, people. I'm not a crook. Get that audio. Savage Life. It's always a pleasure.
Peace. Bye.